higher alcohol.
I think it's higher percentage, but I think that
Mm.
maybe they're like have some like overproof stuff that they throw in, but I'm not sure. It's really good.
What is the best whiskey?
I was saying this to Hayden. I like Buffalo Trace when it's on special. So Buffalo Trace is my favorite American whiskey.
And
Like
my answer
bourbon?
to that, yeah, bourbon. My answer to that was I think best bang for buck bourbon is Maker's Mark.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
Big fan. I like it a bit
best-
sweeter.
Yeah, yeah. Best whiskey's a hard one though. I don't know, man.
Like, are you including Scotch in that, or you just
Yeah, exactly.
You got to
That's the
separate them
thing.
all.
Yeah, exactly. It's too hard, I'd say.
I like two, right? I like Maker's Mark for like something a bit easier to drink, and then when I really want Scotch, I love Johnny Walker Black Label. Just something about it. It doesn't like hit the same as like a full Scotch, and I don't usually like blended Scotches, but there's something about Johnny Walker Black that just hits really
I
nice.
like that. Didn't we drink almost a whole bottle of that on your birthday before the infamous 4 a.m. night?
Probably. I don't know.
I tell you that the Japanese though make banger whiskeys. Like I would say, look, I don't want to say it, but you know where I'm going to go with this. The Japanese whiskey's up there.
I don't know any Japanese whiskey that I like. I've had a few, but I've none memorable for me.
Well, that's the end of the pod. All right, guys, thanks for tonight, and we'll be done with that.
Speaking of which, we're live. Got a big ready. Is that what we're calling it now? Big ready. Big red dot. We're good to go. Guys, welcome back to the Holin None Pod. I'm Shanky, joined by my host, Hayden High Tees. How you doing, Hayden?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And an unofficial public holiday today, so I'm feeling refreshed.
Lovely. And we also got Danny Bidness in the house. How you doing, Danny?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I don't know how I like being relegated to being introduced second. It's usually first, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, caught me off guard there. Caught me off guard there, Watsy. Sorry.
You know what? I did think of it. Normally I would say Danny Bidness, but I was like, you know what? I'm going left first instead of right on my screen.
There's something special happening tonight, I think.
Yeah. Well, something special happens every night on the Holin None Pod.
Right.
Look, guys, I hope you had a good week. 2 tournaments on this weekend. Bedminster kind of snuck up on me. I forgot there was a live tournament this weekend. We were talking about the Fedex Cup quite a bit last week. So that kind of stuck up on me. That was just an absolute clinic put on by our homeboy Cam Smith. I watched some of that and then obviously watched the highlights. And last day was never even close. And then FedEx Cup this week was interesting. Everyone seemed to be in contention, but the winner was a huge surprise. Lucas Glover, congratulations. Big win. It's keeping him in the running for a 43-year-old man, in a young man's game, it seems these days. Like, well done. I shouldn't say he's old. Hayden's older than that, but
that was
how does it feel to have someone in the club, Hayden, winning a comp?
I tell you what, us old guys can do anything, guys. So watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Well, guys, I have to ask though, before we get into that part of the golf, I've been on the socials a little bit. I don't have Instagram, and I don't obviously have Facebook, but I do have Twitter, which is now X, bought by Elon Musk. I don't know if you saw he's changed it to X, which don't really know what's up with that, but sure, whatever. You own it, do what you want. But there's been a lot of goss on the X in the last week about Phil Mickelson, and they're bringing up his gambling problem again. Now, I gotta quickly touch on this because Phil's had a great career. He completely tarnished it by going to live. Well, more about like how he went to live and how public he was and all the issues in between. Really tarnished his kind of image a little bit, and he's not the wholesome Phil Mickelson that we know, but people are now bringing up like his gambling, his past gambling addictions. Even Rory commented about the Ryder Cup, betting on the Ryder Cup. And I gotta say, like, I don't think it's a good look for Rory. Like, I haven't heard any, like, if Phil's doing it, whatever, but I know Phil was getting help for it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of like people like kicking someone for their bad habits publicly. Like, for example, if you had a drug addiction, like, I'm not going to like call you out on socials being like, oh, he's a drug head, I'll never trust him again, like, screw him, even when he's gotten help and he's been great. But I don't know, I don't like it. I'm just putting it out there for the masses. Whatever you think is your opinion, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Like let him recover, do what he needs to do, and if he falls and shows that he's a degenerate gambler again in some way, then yeah, I'll look at him then and I'll judge him then. But he hasn't really done anything in the last months, and yeah, we know he's gotten help. So I don't know. Love your opinion on the Phil Mickelson.
I think it's a great bit of banter. I love it when sportsmen actually show some personality rather than just do the old, did it for the boys line. Came out and played some good golf today. I like it when there's a bit of banter. And Mickelson's not shy of getting on the socials and having his opinion on things either, right? So you get what you get what you're given, right? if you're gonna give it, you got to be able to take it. So I thought it was pretty funny. There was no malice involved. I think it was more about the fact that he's not making the Ryder Cup team, more so than him betting on the Ryder Cup. Right?
Yeah, but
It's a bit of a double dig.
He's in no form to make the Ryder Cup team. I mean, he's good. No. He's still good. Like for his age. Sorry again, Hayden. He's playing good. Like he's playing good golf, but he's not on that Ryder Cup team.
No, of course not. But that's why I thought the joke it just hit on multiple levels. I loved it.
Although I would love to see Phil square off with Rory in an actual stakes match.
Oh, if you were going to say in like boxing or something, I'd say Rory would destroy him.
Oh, yeah. If Rory could reach him, he'd destroy him.
Square up, yeah. Well.
What about you, Hayden?
Look, I think the timing of Phil's match with Bryson when they were gambling at the start of that on YouTube was probably unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think Phil has done a really good job to try and shut his mouth, and he can't help himself, but that's just who Phil is. Like, this isn't new to anybody, right?
No.
Phil having a gambling problem, it's just like alcoholism or drug addiction. Like it's a problem that he deals with. Like, that's not new to anybody either. I think when it's someone like when it's a thing that like can destroy, like he had to sell his plane to pay his gambling debts allegedly. I think it's a bit of a pussy move by Rory to say something like that. It's not. I don't think it's on. I know that his problem's not with Liv anymore. It's he just hates Phil. In full swing, they zoomed in on Rory getting massage, and he was like, "Fuck Phil," and he was like, "Did you get that on camera?" So like, look, I don't know. I'd love to see Rory forget about Elon, forget about Zuckerberg. I don't care about their fight. I want to see Rory and Phil in their cage.
Maybe
and like, Rory's stronger, faster, but I think he's a bit of a dog. And I think that Phil's got some dog in him. And I think that he might even take Rory down in the cage.
And Phil's in better shape than ever. Have you seen him lately?
Have you seen his
terrific
calves?
shape. Yeah.
Have you seen his calves?
He's got like Jono calves.
And just without spoiling too much on Bedminster, like Phil was in it until he wasn't. He played so well. It was
par 3.
I loved it. And you know what? Another thing too, just full respect. Cam gave Phil all the respect in the world, and I think that speaks volumes for the Aussie way. So a Kiwi would do the same thing. He was like, I was so lucky to play with one of the greatest players of all time. So yeah. Anyway, low blow by Rory, but they can all cry into their millions of dollars.
That's right. Yeah. It must be hard life without a private jet, right? He had to sell his plane. That must be so tough for him.
Oh,
it's okay.
I'm sure
he bought another one.
Yeah, I was going to say. He's got another one. Got another one. All right, guys. Well, on that note, sorry, Dan.
I was just going to say, do you want to jump into this this version of trivia that I've got today?
That's what I was getting to.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were skipping past it.
No, on that note, we'll get to Danny's trivia.
It's not going to be trivia. We're going to do a little bit of Price's Right action. So it's going to be. It's not. If you go over, it's fine. But it's going to be closest to the number gets it right for all these questions. So I've got. We're going to do 5, and then there's a bonus round. So just send me your answer over the messenger like normal. But what we're going to do is we're going to do season earnings for these players. So you guys are going to tell me how much that player has earned the season. No googling, Simon.
Don't. Just
right. So a bit of Price's Right action. So closest to gets the point. Firstly, we're going to start off with Scotty Scheffler. How much money has Scotty Scheffler made in the PGA this year? This is PGA earnings for 2023. What has Scotty? I'll give you a hint. He's the top earner so far this year, which is probably a surprise to absolutely nobody. I've got the answer from Shanky here. And Heighties is coming in hot.
So wait, can I just ask a question? So in The Price is Right, if you go
If
over,
you go over, you're out. No, we're not
you're
doing
out.
that. It's close
Okay.
to 2 gets it. So Mr. Heighties coming in at 25 mil and Shanky coming in at 20 mil. He's earned 19.2. So in other words, a
good
week's
guess.
paycheck can live.
I knew.
But yeah, so
I just
Scotty
rounded up.
Scheffler, 19.2 million this year. All right, second
year.
person we're going to do is Mr. Victor Hovland. How much money has Victor Hovland made this year? He had that big win earlier on. He's got some pretty good stats actually for this year so far. But what are we thinking in terms of earnings for Victor Hovland?
I think that's a bit high, but
Hayden
I like that.
Heighties is coming in at 18 mil, and Shanky is coming in at 11 mil. He's earned 10.5. So there you go.
a little bit high.
Hayden needs to recalibrate. He's spending too much time with Liv.
Mm.
All right, we're going to go with the third one, Keegan Bradley.
Gross.
Favorite here at the pod. I know Simon's Shanky's a bit of a fan. Keegan Bradley's had 2 wins this year. And we've got the answer from Mr. Heighties. Just waiting for Shanky.
Like that.
Well, you're both done the same. So who wants to go higher? Who wants to go lower?
8 million and one. 8 million and one, Danny.
8 million and one. What? Who wants to go higher? Lower? You want to go higher?
I'll go 7.
I'll go higher.
He has won. Keegan Bradley has won 8.7. So you guys are actually both pretty damn close. 8.7. So Hayden, you need to take it out from here.
I've gotten 3 in a row. Surely I win by now.
There's 6 questions. So if Hayden gets the next 3, it's a tie. We're going to go with a Aussie favorite, Jason Day. What has Jason Day earned this year? Obviously, another famous win, an all-time famous win. We've got an answer from Heighties. Ooh, so we've got 6.5 from Shanky and 7 from Heighties. He's earned 6.9.
Oh,
so Heighties takes this one out for Jason Day. There you go.
I just want to say I've been within like 500K of every single one of these.
You've been pretty close. And you know the next one's for you, Tommy Fleetwood. What's Tommy Fleetwood's earnings been this year? On the PGA only.
No wins.
You're right. He still has no wins. Good rubbing it in. Good answer from Heighties.
He said lots of seconds. So you could win a couple mil for second, or 1 mil at least for second.
So what's your answer? What's your answer, Shanky? 6.5?
Yeah.
So you've done 6.5. Heighties has done 13. He's won 6.4. You're very close. Someone's been looking this up.
What the hell?
This was there for a tiebreaker, but it's obviously not a tiebreaker anymore. Shanky's taking it out. But who's earned the most money this year without winning an event? So who's won the most money without winning an event? They currently rank 6th overall in terms of earnings.
Without winning any event this year in PGA or?
Yeah, PGA only. This is PGA earnings only. Got the answer from Heighties.
Like it actually could be Tommy.
You need an answer from you, mate.
Yeah. All right. Let me.
I'm gonna start counting you down. 5.
I'll just go Tommy.
That's a 2-shot penalty.
I'll just go Tommy. I was just trying to think of someone else other than Tommy.
So we got Tommy from Shanky and Xander from Hayden. The answer is actually Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay has earned a cool 10 million this year. But that point would go to Heighties because Xander is actually above Tommy as well. So really? Xander's coming in at 11th at 7.8. So in the top 5, you've got Scotty, Rahm, McIlroy, Hovland, and then Wyndham Clark has earned the 5th most this year.
Yeah,
he got paid. Yeah,
he got 2 wins. So obviously the top 10s have been paying off of Scotty because he's 3-ish million off second, which is Rahm, and he's got 2 less wins. So. But I think Rahm did win the Mexico Open, which was paid in pesos, so probably didn't really do too much for him there. There you go. Take it out, Shanky. You're up next week.
The Price is Right. Thanks, Danny Bidness. Let's get right into the actual golf now. So, where do you guys want to start? You want to start Liv, or you want to start St. Jude?
Well, we sort of already started the conversation, right?
I made a point of watching more Live than FedEx Cup because I assumed you both would watch FedEx Cup. So I watched as much as I could while I was awake.
Okay. So let's start Live. Well, it's fresh.
Jump into Live, man.
Yeah. I mean, absolute clinic by Cam. I think he went wire to wire, just like amazing effort. The thing that made a big difference was Jed Morgan.
On the last day.
I think he shot like a 70, 76 maybe or something on the second day. And they interviewed him at the end and he said he rung his dad and his dad was basically like, "Pull your head in, mate, you're being a dickhead." And he came out and shot like a 66, 67.
I think it was 5 under.
7 over, seven over into a 5 under is what he did.
Yeah. So his dad basically told him to pull his head in, which with that on top of Leash finishing top 5, I think he was. Leash was close. They like absolutely
for the day.
Dominated the team event. First time they've won Ripper, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Cam was dominated. The only person that was close that could have taken it out would have been Phil if he just kept his shit together. It was a clinic, an absolute clinic, and Cam was just rolling. Yeah.
At the bunkers, like he was in so many bunkers, and he just pop it out, put it within an inch of the pin every time.
Yeah.
Insane.
Now, without me, because I watch hardly any Live apart from the highlights that you posted. But was it a harder course this week? Because I'm looking at the scoreboard now, and everybody, apart from a very few, have got a plus on one of the days. Even Anaban here, who came second, has got +3 on the first day. +3 into -7. Jeez.
I feel like
I would say
I looked
both.
at that course. Yeah.
I watched both, and I would say the Bedminster course looked harder than the St. Jude course. The St. Jude course looked really easy. Especially, I don't know, maybe it was easy, especially on the third day. Everyone was posting crazy low scores, and maybe they dried it out a bit on the last day. But it seemed real. Like it seemed like Liv did last week, where the course just seemed really kind of just forgiving, and you could hit it way right, but you're fine. There's no bushes. Like it's just kind of some trees and a little bit of rough.
What about Lee Westwood? 20 over 3 days as a professional golfer.
Yeah, look.
Just before the Ryder Cup, like his fall from grace has been quick.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say to Lee. Yeah, he's
a great golfer. He's a great golfer. He's not there at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, 11 over. Geez, yeah, some of these scores are quite bad. It must have been difficult conditions or something.
I think that there's a bit of a psyche change when there's no cut, and when they take 3 of the 4, he was clearly out. So they probably got like Poulter or someone in the Majestics. They probably got Poulter or someone as their last score. So like he like can't even bring himself back into being even to help his team. So he just wants to get to Sunday night kind of thing.
The Majestics had Stenson at +5, Cantor at +5, and Poulter at +7, and they were the best 3. Then Lee Westwood was +20.
Exactly. So there's no even reason for him to play for the team kind of thing. He was literally just trying to get to the end of the day.
I wonder what Norman's doing about the English team, because they are horrendous. Like there's literally no one playing good golf on that team. You got the South, like pretty much every other team is playing good golf for the most part. Like every other country.
Well each week, like one or two of them will play well. 2 of them will play, like the Aussie team. The Matt Jones and Jed always play pretty bad, right?
Yeah. But where's Dan? Dan, have you got the leaderboard in front of you?
Yeah.
Where's Paul Casey?
Paul Casey.
Because I know that he was
31st at 4 over.
Oh Jesus! I thought he was up there for a bit. I saw him for a bit, and he wasn't that bad. So
he went +1, +1, +2. So he was consistent. Like I mean,
Shambo was pretty shit this week too.
Yeah, like even like TJ went even. He went -3, +3 even. So there's a lot of just absolute like plumbers here, just doing nothing.
Yeah,
big blowups.
I agree with Shanky. I think the course looked pretty hard. I mean, there was a point that I sent you guys a video of Cam when I was watching him live. He opted to hit a 3-wood off a cart path because the rough is so hard.
Yeah.
So that probably gives the course a bit of credit there, how tough it was. Not many people take that drop, place on a cart path. And I think that Cam makes the rest of them look worse too, because he was so far ahead. It was like he won by a touchdown kind of thing, and it was a bit silly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like he
carried it
wasn't
on.
even that far ahead after the second day. He wasn't that far ahead, but on the third day, he just put the nail in the coffin and just put everyone down. Like he just absolutely destroyed the field. It was insane.
He would have been
Yeah,
4 strokes ahead on the going into the last day, and then he's won by 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's absolutely, because the South Africans are pretty well. Burmeister and Gracie both up there, 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
But the other Aussies, like Leishman was -2, and then you're into +3, and they still won Cam's just giving them all paychecks out of his own pocket, basically.
Well, it was Hayden's right. Like that last day, it was obviously Cam who's been carrying that team for a while, but Jed, in terms of the team score, Jed actually contributed a huge score that last day.
Yeah.
Yep.
He might have actually had the round of the day on that final day. I'm just looking now. He's -5. Yeah, he's got the round of the day.
Yeah. So people, I think that you'll probably, I hope you'll see a different player out of Jed now. He's probably realized for the young man that, he's got it in him and he can, because Cam was more complimentary of Jed in his interview at the end after winning than talking about himself winning, which is fantastic. So
I wanted to talk about this actually. Like even before I watched today's round, I wanted to talk about Jed in terms of the Aussie team and whether or not he fit in, whether or not he actually should be playing at this level, or if he needs to kind of step down, play a bit more, and then maybe come back. Happy for thoughts on that.
I think for his golf, like for his actual golf and the career longevity outside of live, which we all know is going to be gone in a year or two, he probably does need to do that. But for his wallet, he probably wants to stay there, right? And if he can milk it for its worth for a year and a half, but he needs to be out there playing 4-day golf, playing qualifiers amongst those young Americans.
So
if he wants to get much better.
So that win today for the team gave each one of them 1.1 mil.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't give that up if you're thinking about still being on the PGA Tour in 10 years' time, you probably need to go out and work on your game a bit. Play 4 days of golf.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Live's going. If it's going in a year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows? I do like the country competitions in between. I like seeing Australia. I like cheering for Australia. It's the South African team is unreal. Like they're always putting up great scores. So I do actually really like seeing that. So I don't know. I don't know if Live's or when Live's going. If Live's going, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Cam was like, in Cam's interview when he won, he was just like, man, you know what? I can't wait to hang the clubs up for 2 weeks. I'm going to go and have a 2-week holiday. I'll see you in 3 weeks in Miami. We'll think about that then. And like the narrative over the last 2 weeks, I think it's fair to say that like none of them are like, oh man, I can't wait for this merger. I can't wait to get my card back. I can't wait. Like nobody's saying that. No one's being like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't wait to see what PGA and Live come back. I can't wait to play 30 events a year or 40 events a year. Like, they're happy. They're all happy. They're cheering. And I mean, like Bryson last week almost played himself into Ryder Cup contention. If he'd actually put a good round together this weekend, it'd be hard to not pick him. But he's probably fucked himself. But that's his problem.
He went 3 under today, but yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's funny how happy money can make you though, right? Like if the live might die, but this format might stay. But is Jed Morgan still part of the Aussie team if PGA own this competition? I guarantee you he's not.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Cam said in his interview, he's like, I hope that Jed played so well, and he's going to be part of Ripper for years to come. There was like quote from Cam Smith.
But like Cam Smith's not in charge of anything. He's just
he owns that team.
He's got a better pool.
Yeah, he actually decides who's on that team.
Yeah.
So if he wants to keep Jed, he can keep Jed. But look, I personally don't think Jed's ready yet. Like if we're talking about a all-star Australian team, I think Jed has it in him, absolutely. But to do it consistently, I don't think he does. And I don't know. I honestly think he's probably still too young. I don't think he's got the focus or maturity to do it yet. I just don't think he was.
I want to take what you're saying there. An all-star Australian team, the 4 best golfers in Australia right now.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got? Because I got Cam Davis and I got Min Woo.
Cam Davis, yeah.
I could do this easy. Cam Smith, Adam Scott, Jason Day, Cam Davis for me.
Nah, I'd put Well,
oh, sorry, Min
are we
Woo.
doing
Sorry,
a three-day event or a 4-day event?
Min Woo over Cam.
Yeah.
Cam who?
I
Davis.
think the
Davis,
best 4 Aussie golfers pick themselves right now.
I think Cam Davis is playing really, really well. I put Cam Davis. You put Adam Scott in there for his leadership. I think you put him in there to be that guy. I don't know if Jason Day's in there.
No, Jason Day's not. Cam Scott. Adam Scott's my
Davis.
5th man. I got Cam Davis, Cam Smith.
You know, Adam Scott,
Min Woo, and Cam Davis. That's Sam twice. I think I did.
I think you'd put Jason Day in there as like a coach or something, or like like a Ryder Cup captain. They don't actually play, but he's there.
Yeah, I mean Jason Day would be the coolest guy in that team by far.
Yes, you get him in the locker room. You get him in the locker room for a late last minute hammy being pulled or something, a sore hip or a flu on the day. But I think that Cam Davis would definitely play his way into that team.
You know what I think would be a great, before we switch to the PGA, a great 1v1 would be the 4 best Aussies against the 4 best Canadians. And I say like Cam Smith is obviously I think Cam Smith's leagues above everybody. But I think the Canadians, you got your Corey Connors, your Nick Taylors, like they're very good golfers.
Yeah,
Mackenzie.
What would be better would be in Ashes. So the 4 best English golfers, not including Rory, so English, like your Tommy Fleetwood, Tyrrell Hatton, that'd be good. Like an Ashes of golf. That would be really competitive.
And they just, instead of actually playing golf, they just sit there and drink all day.
No, because the Ashes is a cricket thing, right? It's like
Isn't that what cricket is?
Sure.
Yeah.
From your point of view, I'm sure that's what cricket is.
All right. Well, yeah. Look, I think we could probably talk about different teams till the cows come home, but let's actually get into PGA now. So, I probably watched the last 3 days. I didn't watch much of the first, but I did watch the last 3 days. Had it playing throughout the house most of the days while I was building the deck. I didn't play any golf this weekend, so I had it on quite a bit. Happy for your thoughts though. If you guys were happy with the results, if you enjoyed the field, because here's been the problem with the FedEx Cup is that it's just kind of been a bit boring, and I don't know. Did you guys find it was different this year?
I think the 50 best players aren't playing, which is pretty obvious. But that's just the way the FedEx Cup works, right? If you like I think we said that last week, if you just go play every bloody weekend at the Mexico Open, Canadian Open, whatever you're going to do, you will just accumulate points over time, right? But if you look at the leaderboard, I mean, apart from Glover, which I mean he played really well, obviously, Cantlay, McIlroy, Fleetwood, Cam Davis, all these guys are people that you'd expect to be up there. Spieth, Homer. Actually, Homer and Morikawa had a good showing this week.
Homer did. Morikawa definitely did.
Hovland's up there. Matsuyama played well. He needs to play better because he's right on the cut line, I think, for next week. So, Justin Rose hit a 61. It was a 61.
Yeah.
After hitting a 76.
It was a course record.
Talk about swings from Jed Morgan.
Literally a course record.
To a 61.
Yeah. For an old boy, for one of my generation.
He's a swinger.
15 stroke difference. That's insane.
That's good.
Yeah. In terms of that, I didn't watch too much of it, but it's good to see. It's good to see a new winner. I guess it's good to see us win a couple bets, which was great as well. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks a little bit more and seeing people scramble for that top 30 cut.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Hayden.
Oh no, I was just you Ed, go.
Well, I was just gonna say, how much did you know about Lucas Glover before this tournament? Because I'm gonna be honest, I barely knew the guy at all.
I knew he won last week, and that was the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on a bit of a tear at the moment, and he's been playing golf. I think I don't know if it's the PGA or just professionally since 2001. So he's been playing a long time. I think his total earnings are around 30 million. So he's a veteran, and I don't know. I was listening to his interview after just to get to know him a little bit better, and he's not the type of guy that he's not the type of guy that's gonna make you laugh. Like he's never gonna like have a career commentating after or anything like that. He's a little bit boring, but he just seems like a really honest, like Southern dude who just, even though he's 43 years old, like still really believes in himself and his game. and he's just like, I really respect that. To do that, and he was getting like a lot of the questions they were asking him were, oh, like, were you ever going to retire? Do you think about retiring? And he's just like, nah, like I knew this when we started. I just going through some stuff, made some changes. For me, it was always the putter, and now my putter's under control, and I feel like I'm playing really good golf. So props to him, man. I mean, if you can have that kind of longevity in a sport, I think that's awesome.
All right, you've mentioned it, so you've segued straight into my first. I made 3 points about this weekend, things that, because I didn't watch a lot of it, but the bits I did pick up. His putter looks like if I was like, hey, my 7-year-old, go into Minecraft and make a putter. It is the biggest blockiest thing. It's like a Minecraft base block with a telephone pole on the end of it. What an ugly piece of equipment. Yeah, he won, but I'd rather lose if I had that putter. Like,
wow,
that is horrendous. That putter is disgraceful. And
if they gave you that,
paid,
if they gave you that and you were making 30-foot putts, you still wouldn't take it. Automatic.
Go watch the highlights again, and you'll be sickened when you see that putter. It's disgraceful.
I've seen it. I don't mind it.
It's
Adam
longer
Scott has
than
one.
It's longer than Adam Scott's. It's crazy. It's a telephone pole. It's stupid, and it's big, like a block. Anyway, my other point. Did you see his pants and shirt today? It was like the sweatiest, most disgraceful mess. I reckon he was one golf swing away from collapsing. He was like, he had these disgraceful sweat marks. You could see his butt crack, everything. It was messed up, man.
I mean, who
It was a
cares?
hot day out there,
Some people sweat.
I couldn't watch it. It was like hard to watch. No.
It was supposed to be really hot out there today.
I know it was hot. It was hot all weekend. That's no surprise. But on the last day when you're leading, you don't go out there wearing khaki-colored pants because there was. Watch the highlights after this. Anyone who's listening, all of our 3 listeners, watch the highlights. Look at his pants on day 4 and just be like, "What the hell?" Anyway, that's his wife's fault. She shouldn't have bought that. Last point: Jordan Spieth giving the fan the sandwich. Did you see?
No, I didn't see that.
Jordan Spieth tees off, walking down, pulls the sandwich out, peanut butter and jelly, starts unwrapping it. The guy's like, "Having a snack, Jordan?" He's like, "Yeah, I am. Do you want some?" And he pulls over, starts unwrapping his sandwich and sharing his sandwich with the fan. And the PGA cameras are just, I can't wait for full swing.
Maybe that's why Spieth didn't play as well today on the last day when he was playing so well all weekend, was because he didn't get his full sandwich.
Mate, he was happy. He was loving it. He was having a chat, gave the guy half the sandwich. The guy ate.
Well, he needed to take it a bit more seriously because I got money on the line with this guy. He needs to play better.
Hey, I think he was one of your best players.
He was, but he needs to play better.
He was, yeah. What about Glover going up 45 spots in the Fedex Cup, obviously because of that. But the next best was Cam Davis, so the Aussie. He went up 17 spots.
Yep. I think he started 64 and finished 46 or 7?
62, finished 45.
Yeah.
Good on him.
So he's making his way. He can, if he had another good showing this week, another top 5 probably, he can make his way into top 30. But he's gonna need to basically back up that performance pretty strongly next week.
Do you think he will?
Third best was 16 spots moved up.
Do you think he's going back to Cam? Do you think he'll make the next cut?
I think he'll be close. He'll be there or thereabouts. He'll either come like 30, in the low 30s or just under.
Do you think Cam is trending, or do you reckon he's playing as good as he can play at the moment?
At the moment, he's playing as good as he can play, but that doesn't mean he can't play better in the future.
I don't know. It's hard.
I mean, can he go out and win next week?
No. He won't win.
I don't have him to win next week. He can, but I don't think so.
And now that we've said it, he'll probably win. But I honestly, I don't think he's at the level. Like, he's not. Cam Smith can go out there on the last couple days and win.
No, you're right.
Well, we'll see. We tend to curse or help players when we make predictions. So
when we bet on them, we curse them. If when we talk about them, they do well. So, definitely not betting on Cam Davis this week. I don't want to jinx him. Yeah,
well, I wish him the best. I honestly don't think he's gonna make the cut though. Jumping another 17 spots, like he'll need to come top 5.
15 spots next week.
Yeah. so he'll need to come top 5.
Which he came T6 this week, so yeah, I guess one more, one better than that.
Yeah, but anyway, best of luck to him. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was Cantley. I was watching Cantley and I was timing Cantley, right, on some of his swings, and he wasn't going that slow. And I haven't seen much feedback in the socials about it. Like, Cantley, I don't know. Maybe he's picked up his game a little bit, and maybe that's even helped him.
Maybe he's got less head noise.
Because I counted off the tee, especially in the playoff. Off the tee, I counted him maybe 30 seconds to hit that ball. He wasn't waggling as much. So I don't know. Maybe he's worked with his coach on that specifically, and I don't know. He's obviously his game's coming up a little bit.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on him from pros and all the millions of experts like ourselves paying him out every, so all it probably takes is him to go and hit a couple of quick shots and be like, oh, I can still hit a golf ball. I don't need to do all this weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're a spectator and you're there sitting there all day for 5.5 hours and you got to watch 10 Cantleys sit there for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to make a decision on something, like that would ruin the game for you. You just want to see good shots. You want to see it move along. You want to see all the players come through. So, anyway,
I mean, unless Cantley's in your team, in which case you could just watch him all day.
Yeah, I don't think so. Even if he's on your team, he's probably annoying you. Just like, this guy.
So if we talk about the FedEx Cup ranking, I was looking at it now. If these are the guys from 25 to 30, right? You got Connors, Hatton, Spieth, Sungjae, Chris Kirk, and Sam Burns. Who drops out of those guys? Who doesn't make it?
Say again?
You got Corey Connors, Tyrrell Hatton, Jordan Spieth, Sungjae Im, Chris Kirk, and Sam Burns. Who doesn't make it?
Oh, you're asking this week who plays badly in the top 50 that doesn't make the top 30?
Well, those are the guys who are from 25 to 30.
Well, so if I had to pick one of them, I'd probably pick Sam Burns.
Sam Burns. See, I'm the opposite. I think Sam Burns has got. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think Sam Burns is going to do really well this week.
I mean, outside of a hole in one this week, I don't know. Like Sam Burns hasn't wowed me this year.
Okay. He hasn't. He's had a worse year, hasn't he, this year for sure?
I'm going to go win. I mean, he won that match play event.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Chris Kirk. I think he's just someone that doesn't feel like he should be in that top 30.
He actually.
I feel like Chris Kirk
actually moved up the
rank. He's a guy that's just going to go win next week.
Yeah, and he actually played decent. Like he actually moved up, I thought, in the ranks from this week.
Yeah, he did. But what about yourself? Who do you think?
I don't know. It's a hard thing. It's trying to put like who you think.
What your feelings are,
Yeah, put your feelings aside and who you think actually won't make it. Can you give me the names one more time?
So we got from 30 to 25, you got Burns, Kirk, Sungjae, Jordan Spieth, Hatton, and Connors.
Oh man.
Kirk's the only name that stands out to me there. I'd be ashamed to see Hatton fall out after so many top 10s.
I was thinking Hatton. I'm like, maybe he's played really well during the year and now he's gonna fall off in the playoffs. But you know what? I feel like it's gonna be Sam Burns. I'm not gonna lie. I like Sam Burns, but I just feel like his game's just a little bit weak at the moment.
So then I'll give you 31 to 35. Who moves up into that top 30? We've got Thigala, Justin Rose, Kitayama, Denny McCarthy, and Seamus Power.
Thigala.
Yeah,
I think he's a guy who thrives in the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, Thigala. Yeah, he's a young fella, big time player. I think Rose hangs around. I think Rose does just enough to get in. I think he's going to end up like 29th or something. What about yourself, Hayden?
Kirk Kitayama. I got him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Reckon, yeah.
That's another guy who would come out and win next week.
He'll come second.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we've had enough of the St. Jude. Let's get into our actual picks because we're kind of getting into that now anyway. So what do we got this week, Danny?
So the picks last week we had quite a few winners actually. We had Cantley, obviously T5, and Big Rory McIlroy top 5. Not often we get 2 top 5s. And then you guys both obviously had Fleetwood as a T10. So the leaderboard as it stands at the moment, High Teas is still winning on $60.80. I'm coming second on negative 1960, and Shanky are at negative 88.05. So this week we're going to do outright T10 and T20 times 2, so a bit of a multi there. And this week we'll start with Mr. High Teas. What do you got?
Yeah, cool. We'll go bottom to top. I got T20 times 2. Did you say?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're gonna go Cam Young.
Cam Young.
And I'm gonna go Kurt Kitayama. T10. I reckon the end of the season man himself, Tony Finau.
Hopefully.
And outright, I reckon there's a pretty angry Spanish bloke that's ready to go out there and do something this week. I reckon John Rahm outright.
Rambo. Let's go. All right. Shanky, what do you got?
All right. I got for my T20s, I got Max Homa.
Okay.
And Emiliano Grillo.
Oh, big call. I like it.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty well.
Sure. Why not?
T10? My T10, I got Thigala. I actually had him in my T10. That's why I'm backing him to make the cut.
Yep.
I like it.
And outright, I got to do it. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it now. Tommy Fleetwood, come on. You need a win.
No time like the present,
right? It was almost a 3-way. And if it was a 3-way, I reckon he would have won this week.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe. He doesn't do well in playoffs. We've seen that.
Yeah, one time.
It was the only time he's been in the playoffs. So, all right. So for me, I'm going to go my two T20s are going to be Sam Burns, which I said before, and Hayden thinks not going to make the cut. And I've gone Spieth. Spieth for another good showing. I think he just keeps climbing up the board, just steady as it goes. T10, I'm going to an old favorite of mine, Mr. Tyrrell Hatton, for a T10. Going to add another one to the board. And an outright winner, I've gone with Xander. I think this just feels like a Xander event. Just creeps up on you. Before you know it, he'll win by 2 or 3 strokes and put himself in a good spot for the back end of the season.
Xander's one of the most overdue guys.
I know, right? That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and he's so good.
Apart from Fleetwood is right.
Yeah, I think Xander's probably more overdue.
No way.
Yeah, he's crazy. Gold medal.
He's got wins. Tommy doesn't have wins, and Tommy's like a top 10 world player. Like he needs a win.
Yeah, but Tommy doesn't have a gold medal.
All right, listen, this is what I think about you. All right, so cool. So we got recap that first, Dan.
So we have got 2 T20s first. So we've got Hayden with Kitayama and Young, Shanky with Grillo and Max Homa, myself with Burns and Spieth. T10, we got Finau for High Teas, Thigala for Shanky, and Hatton for myself. Outright, we've got a 3-way battle between Rambo, Fleetwood, and Xander.
Lovely.
That'll be a good one.
Those
boys could be top 3.
Yeah. God, it's such now that we're getting into the playoffs, like the fields actually feel really strong. So
yeah.
I don't feel bad for picking someone who I know will probably do really well, but it feels good. All right. On that note, let's get into our FedEx Cup Championship Holin None squad. So Hayden High Teas is managing this. So how did we do last week?
Yeah, good. Have we got my? Am I sharing this thing properly?
You're on, mate.
Is it sharing now?
Yep.
Oh, good, cool. For some reason I can't see it, but that's no good. There we go. All right. So wrap up of last week. The guy who had the first pick of the team, I can't remember who picked first out of you two.
Shanky.
I did.
Shanky did. Really unlucky Wyndham Clark. That's my wrap up anyway. It's an absolute outstanding pick on Jordan Spieth, bringing him in. Big game player. As I said, I was going to pick him up myself. Dan probably unlucky with Finau and Straka. Sep's been playing good. Finau, this is the time of year. And then over on my team, the guy who I thought was going to carry me was my worst player. And then you got the guy, the pickup again, the Fleetwood pickup, and Paddy Cantlay just being ice cold, taking his time. So it turns out that the last pick team is coming first, myself. We've got Dan narrowly edging Shanky out of second place. So what we're going to do we had a bit of a short change of the rules here. We can sub out, is it any player? Is that what we agreed?
Player,
yeah. Any player. So our totals remain the same for week 1, but you can sub out any player in your team for anyone else coming into week 2. So we're going to start with Shanky, as he's just narrowly behind there, and he gets to sub out anybody.
We're all going to drop players first, though, right? So
we're going to drop players first and then pick up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm first. So I do want to say Clark was very underwhelming, unfortunately. But I do have to say, so Scheffler. Scheffler, with the top with the top guys putting in double-digit negative figures, I was very surprised that he only finished at -6. I thought he would consistently make it at least to -10. So I feel like I lost a lot of strokes with him this week too, unfortunately. But I'm not dropping him, Danny, as much as you'd like that. So this week, I kind of hate to do it, but I'm gonna drop Jason Day.
Yeah.
Ooh, talk about ice cold.
Yeah, no, I love him, but I'm just not feeling him at the moment.
Okay. Yep, that's fair enough. He's been pretty off.
Yeah, look, for me, it's probably no surprise. I was disappointed with Fowler. I think Fowler really didn't show out like he could have. Xander, McElroy, and Homer just fine. I can't drop Finau because he's, like we just said, he's missed the playoffs himself. Seb Straka, he just doesn't really fit the vibe of the team. Just not really gelling in the locker room. Barely speaks English, so we're going to drop Seb Straka from Team 3.
But a bit of trivia there for Seb Straka. His actual name is Josep.
Yeah, and we just can't have that.
There you go.
Giuseppe?
Can't have that.
We just can't have it.
No. Not even Giuseppe.
All right,
cool.
Hayden, who you dropping, if any?
So it's hard. Nobody's let me down apart from Ram, and I feel like Ram's going to be angry going into next week. So I'm actually not going to drop anybody. I'm just going to keep. Part of me wants to. Part of me is like, you know what, Nick Taylor, but you know what, he won me money, so I'm going to leave him in.
Good call.
Yep. So I'll be doing no dropping and no picking up. So we're going to loop back around to Shanky, narrowly behind Danny in second. So who are you picking up, buddy? Day out. Who's coming in?
I'm going to pick up an excellent ball striker this week. Someone who has been under the radar all season, not been playing his best, but I feel like now in the playoffs, he's a young guy, a bit of Japanese in him. Colin Morikawa.
Oh, the man. He delivers, can I just say?
Does he? Does he though? I think you've missed a bet on him about 5 times.
I think Colin's had a bit of Russell Wilson syndrome this year. Got married and turned rubbish.
I feel like as long as Morikawa is not on Hayden's team, he'll do well.
I agree.
Yeah. Yes. Good point. Just like if Fleetwood's not on your team, he does well.
So Jason Day out of Team 2 and Colin Morikawa coming in.
He's in. Sub him in.
Just to clarify, scores remain the same from week 1. They carry over.
Absolutely.
So yeah, look, I'm really in my team. We're trying to fill out the locker room. Like I said, we're trying to get someone who's not going to rock the boat. Just going to be a team player. Sort of. I don't need to get someone that's going to win me anything. Just be consistent. I'm going to go with KB. I'm going to bring in Mr. Keegan Bradley.
You can't. He's on my team.
Is he?
Yeah.
Then I'm not going to bring him in. I thought he was. I thought you dropped.
All right, that's his pick gone. He wasted it. He's down to 7.
No. All right. We've had discussions with Keegan, but he doesn't want to leave Team Shanks, unfortunately.
Who would?
All right. Well, that's thrown me out of it. Which Kim is on Shanky's team? Siwoo or
Tom Kim? Are you kidding me?
Well, there's Siwoo Kim as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
We just had this conversation.
Higher, so I'm gonna go with Siwoo Kim then. Let's do it. Let's go battle with Kim.
The battle
Siwoo
of
Kim
the Kims.
against Tom Kim.
Yeah.
That really surprises me. I thought you'd pick up Hatton, but unfortunately, you made your pick.
Close to the cut line for my liking at the moment. I feel like I don't want to pick up someone who could potentially be cut.
Very strategic. I like that.
Yeah.
Because as we said, if they're not playing, they're not playing. They're gone. So
yeah, you don't get another pick.
Yeah. So all right, cool. So we got Jason Day out, Morikawa in for Simon. We got Sepp out, Siwoo in for Danny. I'm not making any changes. I've got a 17-stroke lead with my team on Danny Business, who's got 4 on Shanky, and we'll see what happens at the BMW Championship.
Now, Hayden, if you want to drop Fleetwood, I'll let you do it. If you want to do it, I'll let you do it.
Are we gonna allow trades?
No.
Ooh, no. We gotta get into that.
There's
I'm just saying.
Because then you could team up on, like, with this many people, you could team up on one guy,
true,
and it's just not fair. Me and Dan would just destroy you. So.
Team.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, guys, those are great picks. I'm actually quite excited to see where we end up with this FedEx Cup. I feel like next week there could be a big swing. You know, there could be some big scores by some people last week who didn't put out. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. Now let's get into our last segment, holing out. And this week I'm actually going to start with Hayden. Yourself. If you could go second, and then Danny Business will start us off.
Well, I'm actually ready for this one, as I always am, and I've got 2. I've gone back to having 2. So, first thing I'm holding out on is potato gems. So I've got a young child who air fry dinners and things, and I always when you pour the bag of potato gems into the air fryer, you always accidentally pour a few too many. So potato gems, for those who don't know, are the little tiny potatoes that are basically like little French fries. And they're absolutely delicious. So I made his little dinner, and then I sit there at the air fryer, just get the bowl of tomato sauce, squeeze on, and carry on, right? So that's what I'm holding out on first. Second is Sunday afternoon golf. So me and Johnny 3-putts just went out yesterday afternoon just for a lazy couple of holes. We didn't know if we were going to play 3 holes, 4 holes, or 12 holes. We just went out and played. I was trying to fix something. I was out there trying to find myself. And we both actually, we both went out. We played 13 holes, and we were both 7 over after 13 holes, which was quite good. I got 2 birdies. I almost got a hole in one actually on the second hole of the bunker, which was quite stressful because then the putt after that was only about this far away, and I almost missed it, which was great. But yeah, going on a Sunday afternoon and fixing something. And it was beautiful weather too. It was a nice breeze, sun going down. It was great. So that's what I'm holding out on: potato gems and lazy Sunday afternoon golf.
Awesome. After the pod, maybe we'll have to reevaluate your handicap.
No, Jono's handicap, because I've got a shot on him for some reason.
No. He's fine. He's fine.
Hayden, what about you, mate? What are you holding out on?
I'm holding out on unplanned family time. I managed to wrangle my children and my wife.
Forced family time.
Well, it was a bit forced. And you'll find this, right? You'll find this as your daughter gets older. They start to have opinions, and they don't want to do things because they don't like it, and there's a little bit of give and take there. But I managed to get all of them in the car. We went and checked out some new couches for our media room, and I was like, you know what? Let's go get lunch. And we went and got with Sushi Train, this nice sushi restaurant. We had like a proper Japanese lunch. Ordered all the nice food. They got to order whatever they wanted. We sat there, and everyone was good for like an hour and a half, and we just enjoyed each other's time. And it was so nice. It was so nice, so rare. It wasn't Caleb wanting chicken nuggets and nothing else but chicken nuggets, or else it's disgusting. So yeah, it was fantastic.
Question on the couch though: is this couch going to be able to be converted into a bed that I can sleep on?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of it. And I'm not, and I just want to be on record that it's not being done for you. It's being done because it needs to be done.
Fair enough.
Aged.
It could save lives.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Anyway, Shanky.
All right. I'm holding out on something that I discovered when I was in Japan. I'm holding out on bidets. Bidets. And I don't know, it's a bit split. I feel like people who haven't used a bidet are anti-bidet, and people who have are very much pro. And I always like to give the analogy. I'm like, hey, if someone threw a bucket of mud on your wall, right, and you had to clean it, well, you want this paper towel or do you want this hose, right? What are you going to use?
I'd make them clean it.
And I tell you what, this bidet we got is a fancy one. It's got a heated seat. It's got obviously functions for her. It's got the rear settings, but double rear settings, so it can just go like G, or it can go G G G G G G, which is quite nice.
Nice rhythm. Nice
Yeah.
rhythm there.
Can we get a video for the YouTube channel?
Of like a demonstration? No, that's my ensuite.
No. Like,
That's for
okay,
me.
I want to tell you. Sorry, if you're not sitting on it and you push the button, does it shoot out like a water
No.
pistol?
No, oh, I mean like no, because there's a sensor when someone's on it.
Is it got a butt sensor?
Yeah, so it knows when you're on it. It's a fairly smart toilet, and it's got a fan to dry, so you actually don't need to use any toilet paper if you don't want to. But sometimes I like to, just to see if it did what it was meant to do, and it does. So I was like, mission accomplished.
I just do the Aussie bidet where you just go straight into the shower.
Yeah, that's too much effort though. You gotta take off your
Get in the
clothes.
shower anyway.
You gotta get the water to the right temperature. Nah, it's too much effort.
That's the shankiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Actually, speaking of toilets, normal or not, but an old section that we used to have. So when I go to the gym and I get the pre-workout, and you guys all know what happens when the coffee hits you, right? Pre-workout's like the same but magnified by a lot. I do the old like quick check of the toilet seat to make sure it's not warm, like someone hasn't just sat on it. Is that normal or not?
No, I check for
environment.
you check for wee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like in a gym where you've got like a bunch of protein-ridden guys, early in the morning, I like to know that someone hasn't just sat on it and I'm not like touching.
Yeah, look, if you warm a seat up for me, I'll give you a high five. Thank you very much. Like nobody likes a cold seat.
Look, I don't like to sit on a seat that I know someone's just sat on, but at the same time, like you should try to plan these toilet visits for when you're at home, not when you're at the gym.
Pre-workout hits, you cannot plan it. When it hits, it hits.
Yeah, I reckon you probably could. I would avoid public toilets and gyms just personally, not just because of the warmth of the seat, but I'm sure a lot of other stuff goes on in those toilets.
I don't know what gym you'll be going to, mate.
If you're stepping on syringes in there too or something, I don't know, man. I stay away from them. But yeah, look, I would say what you do is, I understand it, but I mean, if you're that desperate, you don't have time to check.
No, yeah, you're right. Fair enough. I just want to get that out there.
Cool. now it's out there. Lovely. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Unless Hayden, you want to disclose something weird.
I'm done.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Another great episode of the Holin None Pod, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.